Hi Aquarius, welcome to your week ahead taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Aquarius, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, may help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So your key to the week this week is the Devil card, right? And there's a couple of things that I want to say here, but before that, sorry for the fan noise, sorry for the billowing of the t-shirt because of the fan, and sorry for the fact that I'm a sweaty mess. It's very hot here in the UK. I'm loving it because of the sunshine, but damn, it is warm. So I apologise for that. Now, that being said, the Devil card as your key to the week, there's two things that I want to talk about here. The first one, this is a week for you to get obsessed. I'm talking about the good kind of obsessed, not obsessed over things or people or who said what about you or any of that shit. We don't have time for it. This is a week for you to get obsessed with whatever it is that you're working on. This is, you know, when you talk about like the top people in their field, and it's not that all of us are suddenly going to become the elite at what we do, but it's about being the best that you can be. And in order to do that, you've got to get obsessed with it. You've got to get into that rough and tumble. You know what? I'm going to conquer this until I am the best at it that I can be. The other side of this is as well, whatever your bad habits are, this week they are very likely to rear their heads, and it's really important that they do, because when they do this week, you have a chance to spot them and therefore neutralize or eliminate them. That's the beauty of these things showing up. So this week, when you notice that maybe you're eating too much, or maybe you're, you know, going a little bit too far with something that you like to do. Maybe you're one of those people that goes in all guns blazing at the beginning, burn themselves out, and then they do nothing for weeks on end. Whatever it is, this week you will spot those patterns, and when they come up, you have the potential this week to neutralize them, as long as you're willing to admit that it is a bad habit. All right. With that said, for if you are a continued subby, you know Rafi loves you. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit that subscribe button. For your actions and options, you have the Death card. The ending or the breaking of a bad habit. Like literally, there's nothing else that I can say there. I mean, there is, but you know what I mean. Like with the Death card here as your actions and options, this is you choosing to end things, choosing to eliminate things from your world, your life or your experience. And for me, this is about getting rid of bad habits, letting go of what you know is not serving you, what you know is just not helping. For your communications and conversations, you've got the Judgment card. So one thing that I will say, because you've got the Death card and the Judgment card, for those of you that are so inclined, this would be a great week to have a reading with a medium. The reason being is because this is that kind of thing. It's also a week where some of you may notice that you are getting messages from beyond, from the grave, from ancestors that have passed, grandparents, parents, great-grandparents, uncles, aunts, etc. They could come to you in the dreamscape this week and give you a communication that pertains directly to what you're trying to do in your professional life. I love it when this stuff happens. I'm not going to lie. So years ago, about 6-7 years ago now, well, no, 7-8 years ago, we had a great uncle in my family who was known to be an intense character. And I'll never forget, like the time that he came, the first time he ever came to me, I was having a really, really tough time in my life. And when he showed up like this, arms crossed, and he just stood there. And I tell you, I'm not going to even lie, I shat a brick. Not literally, that would be awful. But like it really, really scared me, because he was this really imposing figure in life, let alone on the other side. But he only ever comes to me when things are either very intense or something intense is about to kick off. And that's how he speaks to me. But that first time, it can be really disconcerting. Now, that being said, watch out for it, right? They're obviously going to share something with you, and it's likely to be, because your communications and conversations is about what you're saying, who you're saying it to and with, and your career. It could be that they're giving you either the next step, maybe they're giving you a warning of some kind, maybe they're telling you that there's something that you're doing or not doing that needs to be adjusted. For those of you that are students or studying in some form of academia, the Judgment card with the Devil, in a lot of ways, this suggests that maybe you're trying, and this is all Aquarians in some way, maybe you're trying to be different just for the sake of it. This might be where your idea of what's progressive is just over the top. And so, you know, if you're trying to pick a subject for your dissertation that's different to everybody else's, that's going to make it really, really hard for you, right? And all right, okay, you don't want to be boring and do something that's been done to death, but at the same time, if you're picking something that's so far out there, you have to think about how this is going to work on the ground for you. For those of you that are employed by somebody else, look, honestly, the message that I'm being given to give to those of you that are employed by somebody else, it's bad form to stay at the party too long, all right? If you know you've been in this job for way longer than you should have, this week it might be time for you to consider that it's time to move on. For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, again, where are you trying to reinvent the wheel that you absolutely don't have to? And more importantly, where have you lost the zest or the passion for whatever it is that you're trying to do? This is something that needs to be adjusted this week. When it comes to those of you that are retired and no longer working for any reason, honestly, I would just be mindful of the communication that you're having this week, especially if there's something that you're trying to do that feels like a dream. And you know, you get that person or those people that are like, oh, well, what if it doesn't work? It's like the most unhelpful thing to say to someone. Do you know what I mean? Like, why are you putting a downer on it before it's even been born? This week, I think if you're retired and no longer working and you're doing something just from a vocational perspective, you're going to find out really quickly who your dream killers are. And this goes for all of you Aquarians across the board, actually. If you know someone is a dream killer, don't share it with them. There's no point. All they want to do is kill that seed before you've planted it. For your love and relations, and maybe that's what the bad habit is. Okay, oversharing with the wrong people. For your love and relations, you've got the 8 of Swords. Okay, so look, you're trying to grow, you're trying to expand, you're trying to do something. Perfect example, and it is just an example for some of you. You start a diet, you're really fired up about it, you're really excited about it, and your partner's like, why are you doing that? I'm not eating vegetables, that's rabbit food. Do you know what I mean? Like somebody that's there, but they're not on board. This could cause a bit of a clash this week, or it could be that you feel a little bit stifled or hemmed in by that relationship. Doesn't mean that it's coming to an end, it just means that you have to find a way to navigate this. And maybe the bad habit is that you give in too early because of what your significant other says or does. Maybe this is time to ignore them, to do you, even while you're in the relationship, and keep doing your thing. That's all. For those of you that are single, honestly, if you get into a relationship at this moment in time, I think you're going to feel really bogged down by it. Certainly this week, all right? Maybe next week it'll be different, but this is not a week to get yourself hitched. It's not a week to really follow certain paths. And it's interesting that this comes up because recently I've had interactions with some people that I'm like, wow, the world really just is a crap place for you, isn't it? And it's such a heavy energy. You know, when somebody's just constantly got a bad thing to say, you just get to the point where you're like, you know what? This is not for me. It's been nice. Take care. For your money and materials, you've got the King of Swords, all right? So when it comes to your resources, for a lot of you, this could be really looking at the paperwork, the documentation. For some of you, especially with that Judgment card, maybe you're looking at changing the way that you get paid. Maybe you're looking at changing the legislation around what you do, especially if you've got your own business. For some of you, this could be really that you're working on the behind the scenes stuff so that you can launch something in the future. Another thing as well, this week you are being invited to leverage your expertise. For your physical health and vitality, this is going to be the systems of your body. For those of you, like, honestly, the things and the people that you know either trigger you, or you know, people that just naturally raise your blood temperature or your blood pressure, and you just think to yourself like, here we go. Like when you see their name on the text or on the phone or whatever, you're just like, oh, here we go, what is it now? Maybe you're being invited to make certain cuts and to release certain connections. Sorry to say, but it is possible. When it comes to your home and environment, the King of Swords, especially because you've got the Devil card here, this would be a really good week, and I think a lot of you will be, and it makes sense with the current climate, I think a lot of you will be paying attention to what you're paying for what you're using and where you can get better deals. All right. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week, as best as you possibly can. Let me know in the comments how this one shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.